Volkswagen Jetta can help. You want sporty, your wife wants more car, and your mother-in-law wants a back seat. The Volkswagen, the neighbors laugh as you drive by. You hide behind the steering wheel, and your wife cries. The Volkswagen Jetta can help. You took the boss to lunch, can help. You took the boss to lunch today. The career is taking you places, but your old car refuses to. Luckily, your local Volkswagen dealer can help.
Baseball is back in Washington. Celebrate a Major League weekend at the 3rd Annual MCI Baseball Classic as the Orioles take on 2 of the National League's powers. It's the Pittsburgh Pirates on Saturday, April 1st, and the St. Louis Cardinals on Sunday, April 2nd at RFK Stadium. Get your tickets at any ticket center outlet or call phone charge at 432-0200.
That's him, isn't it?
You bet it is.
He's good.
I just love the way he parties. Do you know why Buzz McKenzie has so much fun at parties? Because he's always in control. And he knows how to make a party laugh. It takes good sense to have a good time. And Spud knows it's cool to live by one simple rule. Know when to say when.
A reminder from Anheuser-Busch. In this reconstituted, freeze-dried, pre-mixed world of ours, it's hard to find a breakfast that's really made from scratch.
Syrup on there?
Well, at Hardee's, our Rise and Shine biscuits are made just that way, with no shortcuts like some other guys use. But then that's probably why they taste so good. And now, you can get a sausage and egg biscuit or a bacon and egg biscuit for only 99 cents. Your choice of 2 breakfast biscuits, each for under $1 from Hardee's. Because at Hardee's, we're out to win you over.
Another big bounce-back period for the Washington Capitals. After Pittsburgh scores, the Capitals kept coming back. Rob Brown, Mary Lemieux for Pittsburgh, Stephen Leach, David Christian, and Jeff Courtnall for the Washington Capitals. 5-3 now, the Caps with a 2-goal lead over the Penguins after 40 minutes of action here at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. As we mentioned, one of the goal scorers is our second intermission guest, Stephen Leach. Let's talk about that goal. Something you just, trying to get up on net? And it seems like this team, the Capitals I'm talking about, trying to shoot high on Wendell Young.
Yeah, it was a play where I hit Scott through the middle there, and their D backed up a bit and gave us time to get going and our feet moving, and I just continued to go to the net, and he made a real nice pass to me, and I just tried to get it up and on net, and it happened to go in.
It's been an active night for you, strong in the forechecking game, which is always your feature. Pick up a goal, get into another fight. What's this, about 3-4 games in a row now where you've dropped the gloves?
Yeah, it's been a few games now, but you know, I guess that's part of the game, and come playoff hockey when tempers seem to flare and, you know, you're getting down to the drive where you're working for first place, things get a little more aggressive.
Do you feel that's a role that maybe you are going to have to play a little more of in terms of being a bit of a policeman up front? You got Dale Hunter with a lot of penalty minutes, but most of the tough guys, ostensibly for the Caps, back there on the blue line. Do you feel that's a role that you can step in and help the team on?
Well, I think, you know, my thoughts of it all is just that, you know, you don't go looking for it, but if something happens and somebody tries to take advantage of you, that you're going to have to just stand up for yourself and your teammates, and that's basically what I've been trying to do. You know, Louis got a good shot in there, and I just want to stand up for him, and I think as a team, we're doing that a lot more now, and we're coming together as a team and really showing up for each other, and that's great.
You certainly have worked very hard with the strength and training coach, Frank Costello. Has that meant a dramatic improvement in your game? What kind of extra muscle has he been able to put on you with the work you've done?
Oh, I think overall, just the program that he gives us, doing a lot of plyometrics with the leg strength and upper body strength has always been something that I've worked on consistently. So I think he really stressed the plyometrics and other exercises for your leg strength.
What about your involvement with the Olympic program? You were here today, Gene Ubriaco, talking about Zarley Zalapski, who played for the Canadian Olympic team, and Ubriaco's contention basically that he really hadn't seen too many big games. Do you feel that's the case? Do you feel like the exposure and some of the pressure that you had to play under with the Olympic team has helped you prepare for your career in the NHL?
Oh, I think so. I think overall it's definitely helped me. I think the skill level that international hockey consists of is something that is really good for young players to get involved in. You just are able to do things or try to do things at a high tempo, and it carries over to this game. It's not a it's not as a high-tempo game as international hockey, but I think if you can get your skills up like that, it's a definite help for you.
Any regrets about coming out of the University of New Hampshire early? Things seem to be working out for you right now, but do you think back and say maybe a couple more years at UNH would have been a different story?
Well, I really don't think so. I think that my year in Binghamton helped me a great deal as well, just to get adjusted with the pro style of play, and I did get some NHL games under my belt before I went down, and then the opportunity came up to go play for the Olympic team. So I think all in all, things have worked out fine, and I don't regret leaving at all.
There's another Leach around the National Hockey League. Your older brother, Jay, coaching Hartford. He's really seemed to have spurred you on. He makes a comment about your lack of goal-scoring prowess in USA Today. You come back and score a goal. You face his team the other night, get into a couple of scraps up there. Is he? How much contact do you have between each other as the season goes on, with him in Hartford and you in Washington?
We talk every so often. I just saw him briefly the other night in Hartford, but all in all, it's just pretty brief. And you know, he gave me a little jab there earlier in the paper. But it's no real big thing. He's helped me a great deal. He's been a big influence on me and coaching me.
Thanks for the visit, Stephen. Stephen Leach has been our intermission guest, and we'll return and go back upstairs and rejoin my partner, Mike Fornes, after these messages on WDCA.
Come to Chevy City and check this pack before you buy. Come.
Save even more with up to 1,000 cash back.
On the next taxi, Louie's out to impress everyone at his high school reunion.
I'm not sure being a taxi dispatch is enough to do the job.
So the cabbies come up with a crazy idea.
Maybe it would work.
It's high school jinx when Bobby impersonates Louie.
You look taller.
Until the real Louie decides to show up himself.
What would be the harm if I just took a peek?
Double Trouble on Taxi.
Tonight at 10:30 on WDCA Television, DC20. The Clydesdales. The symbol of Budweiser quality. Of Beechwood aging. The choicest natural ingredients. And a genuine commitment to freshness and taste. One beer lives up to all this. Budweiser.
I suppose you were expecting someone else.
Should have stuck to golf, Sonny. You still owe me dinner from the last bet. Let's raise the stakes. Steak?
The C&P Telephone Yellow Pages.
Lobster surf.
More ads, more choices.
Open all night. Won't take that long. It's your shot. Pool's a lot like golf. Scratch.
The C&P Telephone Yellow Pages, the one that works.
You never learn.
C&P Telephone of Bell Atlantic Company.
Well, the Capitals have a 5-3 lead over the Pittsburgh Penguins at the end of 40 minutes of play here at the Civic Arena tonight. For appearing as our second intermission guest, Steve Leach will receive a Bulova Quartz watch from Fleischer Jewelers in Alexandria. Back with more hockey from the Civic Arena. I'll rejoin my partner, Al Koken, right after these words.
You know, Sonny, I can just taste that big, expensive steak you're going to buy me tonight.
Sam, when I sink this putt, you're sunk.
No chance, Sonny.
Sam.
No chance. Get up there, gonna put your soul. All right.
Here's the phone book. Thanks, Julie. Let's find us that steakhouse. Should I look under E for expensive?
The C&P Telephone Yellow Pages, the one that works. C&P Telephone, a Bell Atlantic company.
I suppose you were expecting someone else.
We're here at Track Auto to find out why people come here for all their automotive needs. Sir, what brings you here to Track?
Is this live? Well, how about selection? I mean, just look around you. And what about those low Track Auto prices? I mean, you know there's a 7-year, 70,000-mile auto parts warranty, huh? And how about the friendly and helpful employees? I mean, we've got caring, convenience, and price. Oh, my. If you need it, Track's got it. If Track doesn't sell it, you don't need it.
They created a monster.
Capitals have the lead 5-3 with goal scoring in the second period coming from Rob Brown, his 46th of the year. Lemieux and Hannon had the assists, and then Washington tied the game on Steve Leach's 10th of the season. Scott Stevens and Kelly Miller setting him up. Mario Lemieux again tied the game for the Penguins, his 73rd goal of the year. Hannon and Brown with the assist. Then the Capitals went ahead by 2 on goals by Christian, his 31st, and Courtnall, his 39th of the season. Let's take a look at that Dave Christian goal. Here's the one that gave the Capitals a 1-goal margin with the assist to Pavanka and Rouse, and that one-timer sent right over the glove hand side of goalkeeper Wendell Young as the Capitals went up by a score of 4-3, and then it became 5-3 on Courtnall's 39th of the year from Hunter at 16:45. Let's take a look at the goal here from Hunter, passing to Courtnall. Great stop here to lose Zalapsky. Then the pass comes to Courtnall, a bit off balance here on the off wing, but he turns and just snaps it right into the top corner. This time goes high on the stick side to beat Wendell Young, and the Caps have been going upstairs on him all night. Shots on goal in the second period. The Capitals with 13, a 2-period total of 23, and the Pittsburgh Penguins with 9. They have 19 after 40 minutes of play. We'll be back to bring you the third period of tonight's game from the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh right after we pause for these messages.
There's a special feeling of giant food in everything we do. It's a feeling that you get from people who care. We put quality and value in everything we do. But most of all, we care about you. At Giant Food, we care about you.
Down here, a paint's worst enemy is the blazing sun. That's why the great American home of Henry Ford is being protected with new Sears Advanced Formula Weather Beater. It's the most durable paint we've ever offered. After all, for over 12 years, Weather Beater has maintained the home next door of Ford's close friend, Thomas Edison. Chances are it's on your neighbor's house, too. Sears Weather Beater, preferred by more homeowners for great American homes like yours.
It started with a death.
You believe in God?
Yes. But it's going to end with a bang. Don Johnson is Sheriff's Deputy Jerry Beck.
White supremacy.
The system won't back him up.
White and pure, Mr. Beck.
But he knows 7 men who will. Dead Bang, rated R. Starts Friday, March 24th at a theater near you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Howard Stern.
Hi, you remember me? Me, Howard Stern. I know what you're thinking. He's changed. Well, I'm asking you to change radio station to 106.7 FM, WJFK. Every morning, that's 106.7 FM, WJFK. I smell Cleo.
Each house we build is a very special place. An inviting entryway, the bay-windowed master bedroom and family room, the easy kitchen, a wonderful place of space and light and comfortable elegance. The people of Ryland understand what makes a house a home. We are committed to building affordable homes of quality, value, and integrity.
Ryland homes are built for life.
Tonight's Capitals hockey game is sponsored in part by Providence Savings and Loan, for the best combination of rates and securities in the Washington area. By Campbell's Chunky Soup, it takes care of the meanest appetites. By CMP Yellow Pages, the ones that work. By Giant Food, we care about quality, value, and service. We care about you. And by Polio String Cheese, the best part of the pizza.
CA's game coverage is sponsored by the Capital Cadillac Company, home of the Capital Commitment, featuring free lifetime lubrication, oil, and filter changes with the purchase of your new Cadillac. We're underway with the third period. Rod Langway sends it back inside the Pittsburgh zone. Capitals have a lead of 5-3. Out at center ice, Sheehy takes over and flips it on the left wing now to Kelly Miller. A slap shot, stick wide by Wendell Young. Now the puck cleared out to center ice and dumped all the way back inside Washington territory. And Hatcher is back to get it. Right side for Christian. Loops it out to center ice. Rob Brown dumps it right back into the Washington zone. Here's Scott Stevens back to take it. Michael Pavanka works to center and shoots it back inside the Pittsburgh zone. A bouncing puck to the corner. Played behind the net. John Druce reaches for it, but now Randy Cunnyworth puts it off the boards out to center ice. A race for it. Dan Quinn held up at the blue line by Scott Stevens, and Hatcher goes back to get it. Over to Pavanka. Works to center ice. A pass to Dave Christian. He's across the blue line. Hatcher into the corner and checked by Zalapski on the play. Now it's led to center ice, and Cunnyworth comes back for Pittsburgh. Inside the line, a slap shot, stick save by Peters, and that goes up into the crowd.
Well, these playoff-bound Capitals have much more exciting action to come on DC-20. Next Tuesday night at 8, the Capitals will take to the road to meet the New York Islanders. Don't miss all the live and exclusive Capitals action right here through the playoffs, only on DC-20.
Linesman Ray Scapanello ready to go. Dave McElwain to work the faceoff here against Dale Hunter. Johansson starts out for Pittsburgh, or for Washington, out to Bob Rouse, now to center ice into the Pittsburgh blue line. Hunter goes into the corner, tries to center for Gould, back to Rouse at the point. His high shot goes up off the glass. Phil Bourque turns the corner, can't get started, and finally leads it out to center ice. Bourque takes a spill. Fans wanted a penalty on it. Here's Rouse back in the corner. Bourque tries to sweep it in front of the Washington net, but Johansson starts back for the Capitals to Courtnall. He dumps it back inside the Pittsburgh zone. Gould to chase it. Hunter in there after the puck, but now McElwain starts back for Pittsburgh. Long shot by Coffey. Langway has it. Now Brown works it free. He tries to center all the way back to the point. A slap shot by Johnson is on net. Peters makes the save. Gives it to Rod Langway. Ahead on the left wing for Francis Sketty. Too far. Johnson back into his own zone. Leach keeps the pressure on. Inside the Pittsburgh zone, but now the puck goes over the glass and out of play. 16:46 to go here in the third period. The Capitals have a lead over the Penguins of 5-3.
Next time on Cheers, is Sam about to score with a perfect 10?
No.
Or is that just her IQ?
Well, I guess she'll have to do till dumb comes along.
Now here's a matchup, Beauty versus Brainy.
Yeah, well, you know, I've never met an intelligent woman that I'd want to date.
On behalf of the intelligent women around the world, may I just say...
Next time on Cheers.
Thursday at 6:30 on DC-20.
Face-off outside of the Pittsburgh end, Ridley against Hannon. You notice how Lemieux is not taking his face-off. They do the Penguins a lot like Robbie Ftorek does with Wayne Gretzky out in L.A. Instead of having that center iceman in there who can get tied up, you keep him on the wing, he's able to make a little more, make some more plays for himself, not be involved in all that traffic in front.
Hannon for Pittsburgh tries to move it out to the blue line, and Lemieux, but it bounds to center. Here's Langway into his own zone. Rod Langway ahead for Dino Cicerelli. Now feeds it back to Rod Langway. Right side pass. Cicerelli has it at the blue line. And he throws it into the corner. It goes over the glass.
You know, when you watch Mario Lemieux play, he's almost more like a winger many times than a pure center iceman because he seems to work against the boards. That's what starts everything. If he doesn't have the puck in open ice and somebody else has got it, you find Mario Lemieux, particularly along the left wing boards, as he would be now going down to take on Pete Peters, then breaks in towards the middle. So he plays his position more like a winger than a center iceman.
He's just counting down the games now to see if he wins that scoring championship. But what about the MVP? Think he'll grab that one?
Doesn't look like it. Looks like Steve Yzerman has got the nod on that, but it's be awful tough not to give it to a guy who is so dramatically leading the league in scoring, and how many percentage of the Pittsburgh scoring has he been part of?
Paul Coffey out at center ice. An offside called here against the Penguins. Quick check here of our giant out-of-town scoreboard. Minnesota at the Rangers tonight. New York in front by a 2-0 count after 2 periods of play. Philadelphia at Chicago. The Blackhawks are up 2-0 on goals by Steve Larmer and Wayne Presley. Ron Hextall against Alain Chevrier in that contest. Quebec at Montreal. The Canadians now have a 4-0 lead at the Forum. Mario Goslin came on in the first period after Ron Tugnut started the game, and then Tugnut came back in the second period to appear once again in goal for the Quebec Nordiques. 16 minutes to go here in the third period, and the Capitals with a 5-3 lead over the Penguins, and once again the whistle blows to stop play. Bullets lose tonight 101-92 to the Indiana Pacers. Boston at Hartford getting back to the NHL. It's a 3-1 Whaler lead. Craig Janney's 14th of the season has gotten the Bruins on the scoreboard. St. Louis at Buffalo. The Blues have a 2-1 lead. Peter Zezel for St. Louis, Mike Foligno for Buffalo, and Gaston Gingras to start things off for the Blues. That's after 2 periods of play.
We understand the reason Clint Malarchuk was pulled. Somebody apparently skated up around his neck and cut him. We don't know how serious it is. They say he's in stable condition. What a major blow that would be to the Buffalo Sabres, and certainly our wishes that Clint Malarchuk is okay.
You can imagine it's a pretty serious deal. That neck area vulnerable, and the goaltenders have thought so for so long from pucks. But you don't think about the skate play, do you? Here's Lemieux trying to center. Rob Brown throws it wide of the net, and Pavanka goes over after it. Franciscetti was all tied up with Brown, and the Penguin fans felt there should have been a penalty call. Here's Kevin Hatcher. Up to Pavanka to the blue line. Dan Quinn steals and starts back. So again, the word we're getting on Clint Malarchuk is that he is stable, but that was injured when a skate blade cut him across the neck on a goal-mouth play, and he has been removed from the game and most certainly has been taken to the hospital. 14 and a half minutes to go here in Pittsburgh, and Washington with a 5-3 lead over the Penguins. Dave Christian's pass behind Calle Johansson. Bob Rouse goes back to get it. Sends it ahead for John Bruce. Now dumps it back inside the line. And in Pittsburgh territory, it's played off the boards and all the way down the ice by Wendell Young. John Druce throws it back inside the Pittsburgh end. Here's Phil Bourque. Langway comes up with it to Bobby Gould. Taken away at the blue line. Lemieux starts back for the Penguins. Into the Washington zone. Charging, trying to get past Langway. We have a penalty call coming up. A delayed call. This is going to be against Washington. And Bob Hall is getting some argument from John Druce. But Druce is headed to the penalty box, and that'll set up the Penguins with a manpower advantage here on the power play.
A lot of people thought it was on that action in front of the net with Rod Langway wrapping up Mario Lemieux, as Lemieux made a great play to keep that puck on his stick, finally spin in front. But Druce, just keeping an eye, I think, on McElwain coming in behind the play, held him up. And John Druce gets the interference call. The power play for the Penguins in action right now. Second time tonight they've had the man advantage. Right now the Penguins struggling a little bit with the extra man. They've got 111 power play goals, as we mentioned, tying the record set last year by the New York Rangers. They've only scored 7 in their last 37 attempts, and a great scoring chance there. Gallagher is robbed by Peters on that rebound.
Time of the penalty, 6:32 to Druce for interference. Wanted to score to pass along. The Toronto Maple Leafs ahead 3-2 over the Vancouver Canucks. They're just underway with the third period at Maple Leaf Gardens. Al Iafredi's 12th goal of the year has given Toronto the lead. Slap shot, and Kelly Miller clears it back to the point, but not out. Kept in by Zalapski. Now to Jock Callender. Throws it into the corner. Centering pass. It was off Lemieux's stick to the corner, up to Coffey, now back in behind the goal, and Langway makes the play to Kelly Miller, and he clears it all the way down the ice. A minute and a half left in Druce's penalty. Sheehy pops it back again into Pittsburgh ice. Now Scott Stevens turns it around and again forces the play back to the Pittsburgh zone. Here comes Dan Quinn. Passes into Lemieux's skates, now over to Rob Brown. Brown sets up on the power play attack. 45 seconds to go on the Washington penalty. Lemieux trying to center, but Hatcher's right with him. Back to the point, Zalapski. Now to Lemieux, to Zalapski. Slap shot. It gets by Peters, but wide. He made the stick save. And now Brown off the sideboards. Stolen, and Scott Stevens clears it all the way down the ice. Quick pass out to Coffey from Wendell Young. Into the corner. Stevens sends it up the boards. It's loose in front of the Washington net, but Kelly Miller's there. He backhands to the point. Coffey keeps it in, but Hatcher steals the pass. Sends it all the way back inside the Pittsburgh zone. Penalty's over. Druce is out of the box, and the Capitals back at full strength at the blue line. Here comes Kevin Stevens in front to Lemieux, and Peters robs him. Pete Peters sliding across the goal mouth stops Mario Lemieux on a point-blank play.
Easily the best save of the game. Watch Stevens. He has a little bit of a step on Langway, and there is Lemieux all alone. Stevens is able to shovel it over, and look at Pete Peters. Track it, get down, stack the pads, and make the save up in the chest. Kevin Stevens showing you some good speed here. He gets the step. Langway leaves his feet, tries to use the reach to sweep the puck away. Stevens goes off his skates, but Peters has anticipated what's going to happen and gets over there to rob Mario Lemieux. The power play was over for the Penguins. That would have been an even strength goal, and Pete Peters keeps his side up by 2.
Al, when the Penguins have trailed after 2 periods this year, they've won 2 games, lost 27, and tied 2. And the Capitals have been leading after 2. They are 28-1-4. The only question to be resolved, that 2-goal margin. The Caps hope that is now a part of their past.
Well, that big penalty kill that they just had is a real key to this game. If the Penguins get one there, they certainly are right back in it. With Pittsburgh's offense, they certainly are not out of it. But now you've gone almost the halfway mark of the period without Pittsburgh getting that goal that they needed so desperately early in the period to get momentum. Caps getting out of the zone pretty clearly and continuing just to dump the puck and try and keep pressure on the Pittsburgh defense.
Courtnall to the blue line, throws it on net. Wendell Young makes the save and hangs on. There's a break in the action with a score. Capitals 5, Penguins 3.
When I get a hold of you, I want to tear the cover off of you. We're going downtown. You know what? I'm going to smile while I watch you disappear.
The delicious chunks of meat and vegetables in chunky old-fashioned vegetable beef soup make short work of even the meanest appetites.
Well, you got a hold of something solid today.
Campbell's Chunky. It takes care of the meanest appetites.
The playoff tickets for games A and B of the Packer Division semifinals will go on sale Friday, March 24th at 6 p.m. If you'd like to get your tickets, give Phone Charge a call at 432-0200 or the toll-free number 1-800-448-9009.
Mike Ridley ready to work the draw here against Dan Quinn. And Quinn gets it. Out to Kevin Stevens. Takes it inside the Washington zone. Calle Johansson chases him to the backboards. The centering pass grabbed by Kelly Miller and cleared all the way down the ice. Rangers are now in front of Minnesota 3-0 on a goal by Lucien Deblois. Boston is catching up to Hartford. Keith Crowder's 14th of the season. Cuts the Whaler lead to 3-2. That's in the third period. 5-3 Washington here. Dan Quinn tries to center and Johansson breaks it up. He starts back to Dino Ciccarelli. Puts it inside the line. Tries to center and just missed Ridley. Now Francischetti makes a run for it but can't get to it. Back comes Cunneyworth for Pittsburgh. Gets across the line. Shot blocked by Scott Stevens. And Stevens comes back now for the Capitals. It's inside the Penguin zone. Right wing pass for Wickenheiser. Chipped off the boards, and Rouse keeps it in play. Here's Hannon with the puck now for the Penguins. Long lead pass off the boards, goes all the way down the ice, and Pete Peters plays it back to center for Francischetti. Francischetti trying to center and just about hit Steve Leach right in front of the net. Played back to center ice, and Stevens dumps it right back in. 9 minutes to go here in the third period. Capitals lead at 5-3. Here comes Langway. Off the boards to center down for Steve Leach. He winds and a slap shot. Caught by Young. Back to Bourque. Chased by Ridley. Up the boards for Brown, but it comes to center ice. And taken over by Dave Christian. Sheehy drives it back inside the Penguin zone. Buskis to the corner. Ridley takes it away. Phil Bourque comes up with a puck now for Pittsburgh. He starts back to center ice. Bourque inside the Washington zone. Checked off the play, and Christian goes to the corner to battle with Rob Brown. Out to Ridley. Sends it ahead. Before Pavanka can get out of the zone, the Penguins steal, and Brown starts back. Over to Lemieux. Mario Lemieux to the point. Zalapsky a shot. That's blocked, and now Brown is lying on the ice and appears to be injured.
Boy, he could have gotten high stick by Scott Stevens if that's the case. If it's an injury, 5 minutes, and this game has turned. Regardless, it looks like, yeah, there's blood coming out of his mouth, which would probably signify to Bob Hall that there definitely was an injury. And Scott Stevens could be gone from this game. He just made that motion to go. He's on his way to the Capitals dressing room. You see the stick get up there underneath that face shield. And the Capitals, who were 7 minutes and 52 seconds away from closing this out, now have to take on the third-ranked power play in the National Hockey League for 5 straight minutes. Major turn here. We'll come back for it after these messages on WDCA.
Mr. Dave Christian for Providence Savings.
If you think offsides and two-line passes are hard to understand, you should try asking a banker about mortgage rates. Unless, of course, you're asking for a Providence Savings mortgage. They have so many rates and terms, you can almost pick your own and get it fast. At Providence, you get the loan you need, not just something off the shelf. At Providence, we all wear one number, number 1.
Providence Savings, member FSLIC.
Well, Scott Stevens is gone from this game. 7:52 left to go. A 5-minute major for high sticking and the automatic game misconduct for those high sticking majors. Now, before that, watch the great play Scott Stevens makes here. Bill Bork tries to go one-on-one. Stevens stays with him, plays the body, takes Bill Bork right out of the play. Outstanding defensive play there. Then coming back, gets the stick up on Rob Brown. Boy, will the Capital penalty killers have to decide this game here.
Kevin Stevens and Bob Rouse start to push and shove now as we're ready for the faceoff. How much has it hurt the Penguins tonight, Al, having Bob Erie out of the lineup?
Well, it's hurt a bit. I mean, Hannon has played in his place and has had a couple of good scoring opportunities he hasn't put in. You don't know if Erie would have gotten them all, but certainly it's made a difference. Erie has worked out very well on that line with Brown and Lemieux, and when you have Hannon now having to get all that offensive time, takes away from his defensive checking play.
Pittsburgh with pressure now in the Washington zone. Langway clears to the point, but the Washington net has become dislodged and play is called. So Pittsburgh is allowed to score all the goals they can. It will not change the fact that Washington skates a man down for 5 minutes, and we've got 4:38 left on that.
But let's see now, when we talk about the Capitals after the trade. So much has been focused on Dino Ciccarelli, but now Brian Murray feels he's got 3 defensive duos that he can put out there in any circumstance, and now you really are going to have to see it. Stevens is gone, so you're down to 5 defensemen, but Sheehy, Rouse, Johansson, Hatcher, all these guys Brian Murray has confidence in these situations. That wasn't the case before all the deals were made. Larry Murphy and Grant Ledger were not getting out there in key times like this, and it was costing the Capitals.
Power play hockey for Pittsburgh. Zarley Zalapski dumps it in behind the net. Sheehy puts it off the boards, looking for Christian, but now it's taken by Jock Callender. He centers, and Pete Peters gets a stick on it to deflect to the corner. Caps cleared all the way down.
Let's also see how aggressive Pittsburgh is on this 5-minute power play. A lot of teams, when they get that 5-minute major to work with, take their time trying to find the perfect shot, and by the time they really start to realize that, hey, we better get something going, they're down to about 1.5 minutes left on the 5-minute major without getting too many good chances.
Here's Lemieux with the puck, tries to center. It comes back to the point. Paul Coffey, his drive wide, and Lemieux pokes it right in front. Over now to Dan Quinn. Quinn back to the point for Zalapski. To Lemieux, tries to center. Sheehy blocks it away. Sheehy knocked down to the ice, and the whistle blows. His play is called, and now Sheehy's not getting up.
I think Neal was looking for a call that's not coming from Bob Hall. Now, he does have his helmet off. Maybe he does knock his head onto the ice. But you see, Stevens is pushed into him by Kevin Hatcher.
You got the shoulder of Stevens right in the head. Well, Stan Wong, the Capitals trainer, works on Neil Sheehy, and we'll pause for this commercial message here with the Capitals leading the Penguins 5-3.
People are always asking me, what's the secret to a long life? Well, I'll tell you. Never drink, never smoke, and never, ever learn to cook.
Neil Sheehy appears to be okay. Went over to the Capitals players bench under his own steam. Right now, Langway and Rouse will be the defensive penalty-killing duo, and there's you see the shoulder, as Mike mentioned, coming up to Neil Sheehy. A little rest now for the Capital penalty killers for just a moment. 3:37 left to go. Rouse out there, Langway, Ridley, and Miller, the penalty-killing group for the Capitals. Brown, Quinn, Lemieux, Zalapsky, and Coffey, the power play group for Pittsburgh.
Here's Quinn trying to center, and Langway stays with him all the way to the boards. Back to the point for Coffey. Throws it in behind the goal for Mario Lemieux. Rob Brown checked by Langway, and Ridley steals and clears it all the way down the ice and just about took Ray Scapanello's head off. He had to hit the deck in a hurry. Lead pass for Quinn. Quinn to the blue line and makes a pass behind him to Brown. Capitals take advantage of that misplay and clear the puck, but it winds up going over the glass and into the seats.
Still plenty of time for the Penguins, but the fans here don't seem to think so. They really are booing the Penguins right now as the power play having trouble setting up in the Washington zone with 3:04 left to go. Jock Kylander now out there on the ice. Coffey and Bork are the points. Lemieux remains. Randy Cunnyworth has come out there. So Mario Lemieux sticks out on the ice. He's been out there almost the full 2 minutes that have gone on for this power play. Capitals are changing up their group. Hatcher, Sheehy, Miller, and Gould.
Randy Cunnyworth shoots it back inside the Washington zone. And here goes Sheehy back to get it. Sends it off the boards and clears it all the way down the ice. Paul Coffey is back to get it. Coffey carries to the line, spun around by Sheehy. He ties up on the backboards. Hatcher is able to hold it there, taking off some more time. Down to 2:23 left now in the major penalty that has seen Scott Stevens leave the game for a high-sticking major.
What a job Kevin Hatcher does behind the net. 2 Penguins on him, poking. Hatcher keeps it on the boards and will take this face-off.
Featuring radio replays, out-of-town scores, and interviews.
And he comes off the ice. Brian Murray keeping fresh people out there. He's changed up about 6 different times already on this power play, both with his forward combinations and his defense pairings. Keeping people fresh.
From the draw, here's Ridley to pick it up, and he sends it the length of the ice. Penguins are running out of time. They've got 5 minutes left here in the third period. 2 minutes and 5 seconds to go on their major penalty power play. Outside the line, here comes Wickenheiser. He's got a break in on Zalapsky. Walks in on his backhand, turns it around, and Zalapsky pokes it free. Back come the Penguins now in the rush. Inside the zone, Coffey trying to center. Over to Mario Lemieux. And that's stolen and cleared the length of the ice by Wickenheiser. And now the Boo Birds really come out. Again, the Capitals turn the Penguins back. Now we've got a penalty call coming from referee Bob Hall.
This is, I think, going to be on Mario Lemieux. Frustration showing on the part of Lemieux. Kelly Miller gives him a good, clean, legitimate check along the boards. Lemieux responds with a shot to Miller's head. And at a critical moment of the game, the key player for the Pittsburgh Penguins has taken himself out of play. I think that may say something to some of the voters when they start talking about Yzerman, Gretzky, Lemieux for MVP.
Would you see Wayne make a play like that?
Nope. It's frustrating. You can understand the frustration, but if you are one of the superstars of the game, you have to stay in control. Now it's 4-on-4. Lemieux's not out there. The rest of that power play major has been killed off, ostensibly. Watch it. Now, see, Kelly Miller has hit him. Look at Lemieux come back with a shot to the head. And Bob Hall at the top of your screen watching it all the way.
So now both sides at 4 skaters. And Washington will have a brief power play of about 45 seconds in duration. Centering pass, and Kevin Hatcher takes that out. Ridley tries to poke it out of there, but there's a shot on goal, and Peters makes the save, stopping Cunneyworth, who's always been deadly against the Capitals and doesn't have a point on the score sheet tonight. Dave Hannon drops it at the line, and offside is called here against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Update here by the Penguin public relations staff about Clint Malarchuk. Just a brief release. I'll read it. It says Buffalo Sabres goalie Clint Malarchuk was rushed to a Buffalo hospital after his neck was cut during a collision in the first period of Wednesday's game against the St. Louis Blues. Malarchuk appeared to be cut by a skate when he was struck in the crease during a pileup. He collapsed, bleeding profusely. A pool of blood about 3 feet in diameter was left on the ice as he was helped to the dressing room. With assistance, he was able to skate off and did not need a stretcher. Malarchuk, who was obtained by the Sabres on March 6th in a trade with the Washington Capitals, is in stable condition in Buffalo Memorial Hospital. That's scary.
Yeah. The fact that he was able to get off with assistance and not on a stretcher, I guess, is the key. It's the area where the jugular vein is, and that can be a fatal injury in a situation like that.
Here's a shot by Kevin Stevens, and he puts it wide of the goal in a great scoring chance right in front of the Washington net.
Amazing, since Lemieux's been off. 4-on-4 has opened things up a little bit, and the Penguins have had some of their best scoring opportunities.
Langway back to neutral ice. In 8 seconds, the major penalty to Stevens will expire. Here's a whistle to stop play, and after the offside call, the faceoff will come out at neutral ice. 4 seconds left in the Stevens penalty. John Druce is serving it on Scott's behalf. Stevens, of course, ejected from the game with a game misconduct. 47 seconds left in the Lemieux call.
Got to get these things on net. Perfect setup, and Kevin Stevens has got Peters cold turkey. If Pete got any little piece of it to send it wide, but Stevens trying to go a little bit against the grain there. Doesn't get it. Amazing. It looks like there's going to only be 1 or 2 official shots on goal for the Penguins during all that time. Everything is even right now, 26 apiece in terms of the shots.
Bork's backhander goes wide of the net, and Hatcher starts out, gives to Dale Hunter. Hunter to the blue line, gets inside the Pittsburgh zone. Now sweeps it in behind the net. Dino Ciccarelli back to pick it up. Here's Courtnall for Washington. Back to Ciccarelli, to the blue line. Johansson goes right side for Kevin Hatcher. He keeps it in, but now it's cleared all the way down the ice by the Penguins' Steve Dykstra. Penalty's over. Druce back on for Washington. And now the Caps with a brief power play here before Lemieux comes back. 2-goal Washington lead with 2:05 to play. Out at center ice. Hatcher takes over as both clubs are at full strength now. Lead pass, and Lemieux's in alone. He dekes, he shoots, and he couldn't get it underway. It goes wide. Now Brown, a backhander. Langway blocks that with his skate. Rouse has got Lemieux tied up in behind the goal, and there's going to be a penalty call here to Washington's Bob Rouse. And that will mean that the Penguins will have the power play and a chance to pull their goaltender. The call is holding to Rouse at 18:16 of the third period. Back with the final moments of the third period right after this.
For the pride, for the dream, for the love, and for the team, for the sweat and for the drive, for the reason you strive.
For all you do, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood aged Budweiser.
1:44 left to go in the game. You see Lemieux breaking in, holds it, tries to go backhand again. Bob Rouse taking him off the play and then finishing him off completely with a holding call. Wendell Young is way out of the net, but still is on the ice. Now he's making his way to the Pittsburgh bench.
The Penguins have a 6th attacker on out there. Washington has 4 skaters on the ice. Penguins jam it up right in front of the net. Here's a shot that hit the crossbar. Peters makes the save on the rebound, and Langway clears it up the boards. Coffey keeps it in. Zalapski into the corner for Brown. Over to Lemieux. He tries to center. Kelly Miller gets a stick on it. Back goes Zalapski into the corner. Now Quinn to Lemieux trying to center, and Peters hangs on. And pushing and shoving in the aftermath as Quinn reached in there and tried to knock the puck out of Pete's glove.
And it looks like Lemieux is hurt. Quinn is called over for the trainer. Lemieux getting up rather slowly now. We'll come back for the final 1:11 of this third period in the game right after these messages.
Want to take better pictures? Get the new Canon EOS 750, the only autofocus SLR with a flash like this and a system with computers and motors in every lens. Here, try it. Try the zoom. Easy, right? Well, that's EOS.
New Canon EOS 750. Photography, pure and simple. Canon, the official camera of the Washington Capitals.
A minute, 11 seconds to go in the third period of this game. The Capitals have a 5-3 lead over the Pittsburgh Penguins. A minute and 27 seconds still remains in the Bob Rouse penalty. Should Pittsburgh score, Rouse would come out of the box. The Penguin net is empty. Mario Lemieux appeared to be a little shaken up earlier, but is all right. And the Penguins have 6 skaters now in the Washington zone. The Capitals have just 4. Quinn to work. And gets the draw. Back to Lemieux. A slap shot deflected wide by Langway. And the puck cleared by Hatcher to the point. Zalapski to Lemieux. He fires. Peters made the save, and then it got between his pads and into the net. It's a power play goal. And it's the only goal scored so far of the third period, the only power play goal of the game. And at the 19-minute mark of period 3, Pittsburgh is drawn to within 1. The score is now 5-4.
1 minute remaining in the period. 1 minute. The Pittsburgh goal is 74th of the season and second goal of the game.
There you see Lemieux from the top of that face-off circle, and it rolled right up Peters' pad and then settled over his knee and into the net. And Lemieux gets credit for the goal. Coffey assisting, as well as Zalapski at the 19-minute mark. For Lemieux, that's his 73rd, make it 74th of the season. He's got 2 goals in this game. Less than a minute to play. Wendell Young back in the Penguin net. They'll be trying to get him out of there. Here's Hatcher to try and keep it in. The puck cleared to center ice. Rob Brown, a 2-on-1 break broken up by Mike Ridley. And Kelly Miller sends it all the way back inside the Pittsburgh zone. That gives the Capitals a bit of a breather. Christian fighting for a face-off in Pittsburgh ice. Off the boards, here comes Lemieux. Starts out to center. He gives it to Cunnyworth. Taken down at the line by Kelly Miller. And Langway picks an opening and sends it all the way down, but just wide of the empty Penguin net. Icing is the call, though. And Pittsburgh has a face-off back in the Washington zone with 15 seconds to play in the third period. Rod Langway just about hit the empty net and took a chance in doing so, knowing that if he missed, he'd have to take an icing call and a face-off back in his own end. And the Penguins will keep the top gunners out there. Zalapski, Quinn, Brown, Coffey, and Lemieux. Now timeout has been called.
Timeout, Pittsburgh.
And it's Pittsburgh's timeout. With only 15 seconds left to go here in the third period. Al Koken is headed downstairs to prepare for our Star of the Game program. We hope you'll stay with us for that. As Gene Ubriaco calls the troops around and sets up some strategy here with a face-off upcoming in the Washington zone and 15 seconds left in the third period. Well, the Rangers won tonight, 3-1 the final score. They beat the Minnesota North Stars at Madison Square Garden. And Beesbrook gets the win. John Casey takes the loss. Well, Brian Murray has Kevin Hatcher, Dale Hunter, Rod Langway, and Kelly Miller out there, along with Doug Wickenheiser. It looks like Hunter's going to take the draw, and should he get tossed, it'll be Wickenheiser who will come in. Kevin Stevens is on for Pittsburgh, with Quinn, Zalapsky, Lemieux, Coffey, and Brown. The Penguin net is empty. Quinn against Hunter. Hunter gets the draw, but a false face-off. 1 second came off the clock, and now the pushing and shoving starts in front, and this is not a wise move on the Penguins' behalf because of the firepower they'll lose if anybody goes to the box. Now Hatcher and Brown sparring at one another with their sticks, and Bob Hall is motioning that they should go to the penalty box. I don't know if they're going to put that second back on the clock or not. There were 15 seconds left, and from the draw, Bob Hall whistled the play down, I thought saying that the puck had been dropped unfairly. Now they're taking Rob Brown off the ice, and he's heading back to the Penguin dressing room and would not be available until sometime in overtime should Pittsburgh score. Kevin Hatcher is also being sent off. And while the Capitals don't like losing Kevin Hatcher, when they need his defensive abilities out here in this situation in the Washington zone, you can bet the Penguins will agonize with so little time left upon losing Rob Brown in the same situation for offense. Time of the penalty calls, 1946. These will probably be 2-minute minors for high sticking. So far, they've let the time stand up there with just 14 seconds left on the clock, and I think now the timekeeper is asking what to do about it. Ray Scapanello, no, they just want to know what the penalty call is, and Bob Hall says it's for high sticking. So we stay at 14 seconds left.
Pittsburgh penalty number 44, Robbie Brown, 2 each for high sticking at 1946.
14 seconds to go, and the Capitals again win the draw. Key face-off, and Rouse tries to clear it, comes right in front of the net, and now Lemieux and Hunter collide along the sideboards. The puck comes out of the zone, is sent back in, time running out. The Capitals have beaten the Pittsburgh Penguins. Final score tonight, 5-4, as the Washington Capitals pick up 2 more points in their quest to claim their first ever Patrick Division crown, and now have 86 points. Still in first place in the Patrick Division, although the Rangers won tonight. They now move 5 points, or make it 7 points ahead of the Pittsburgh Penguins, who remain at 79 points, third in the Patrick Division. Washington's record, 38 wins, 26 losses, and 10 ties. And Pittsburgh, 36 wins, 32 losses, and 7 ties on the season. That concludes the regular season series between these two clubs. Washington wins 3 games, and Pittsburgh wins 4. But remember, the Penguins won the opening 4 games of the series, and the Capitals came roaring back to win the final 3, and that should leave them in very good stead for a possible playoff confrontation. Shots on goal in the third period. For Washington, only 3 for a total of 26 shots in the game. And Pittsburgh had 9 third-period shots, giving them 28 for the night. Capitals beat the Penguins 5-4. We'll have more from the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh after these words.
Want to take better pictures? Get the new Canon EOS
Clippers in the NHL. The
LR with a flash like this and a system with computers and motors in every lens. Here, try it.
And Dino, of course, has the new Capitals team record for points in one game. 4 goals and 3 assists up in Hartford. That was something. Dodge is contributing $500 in Dino's name to the Sarnia Minor Hockey Association in Dino's hometown of Sarnia, Ontario. That's our Dodge NHL Performer of the Week, and we say congratulations. Now, ladies and gentlemen, would you all please rise and join Glenn Cunningham in singing our national anthem.